Hi, this is Bob at airdensityonline.com. We're going to illustrate the analysis of a current fuel injection setup using ProCalc. We just demonstrated the loading of the setup and all of the numbers into the ProCalc profile. That was done on the previous video for an 871 big block drag engine, and we pointed out that all of the jetting and fuel pump size and blower and air density all created an air-to-fuel ratio that was a little on the lean side. We're now going to examine other problems with this setup. We're going to go up to the air-to-fuel ratio calculator. We want to make sure we have the correct setup since we have several others loaded, and that was the one that's used. Here our setup appears. Now, when we go to one of the calculators the first time that we're on the ProCalc, we have to reload our weather. By design, the weather does not reload. In this case, we've already loaded it for you, and these are the same numbers from the previous run. So we're going to go ahead and get air-to-fuel ratio in this calculator. This gives the same number as we had before, however it gives additional information. It shows fuel pressure with the high-speed open. And the other thing that's significant in this one is it shows fuel pressure at our target RPM of 5,500. This was the RPM that the tuner wanted the high speed to open, and this pressure is shown, and this would be for a case where the high speed is open. The first thing we're going to do is find out at what pressure the high speed actually opens. So I'm going to go here and turn off the high speed where it says 60,000, so I'm going to make that 0. Now this would be the fuel system before the high speed opens. Okay, the air-to-fuel ratio is a richer value, and the estimated pressure at 5,500 RPM is 42 psi. Well, it turns out this setup in this previous run, the high speed was set at 73 psi. So in fact, the tuner was mistaken. The high speed wasn't opening at 5,500. That is the first mistake that we found, is the high speed is opening at some RPM much higher than what he thought it was. Okay, I'm going to put the 60,000s back into this. Now we're back to where we started. This is the baseline from the previous run, and I stated that this is a little on the lean side. Okay, at the beginning of the year, this tuner resealed his blower, so I'm going to go to my blower setting and I'm going to change it to 98. And that would be the first run on this combination with the blower just resealed for the year. Now notice the air-to-fuel ratio is 4.5. That is really lean. I've seen a couple of them 4.6, and at 4.9 it was banging the blower, 4.8, 4.9 range. So this is starting to get way on the lean side for this combination. Okay, coming back here, I'm going to take the 98 and put it back to 95. Now I'm going to go down to the fuel pump, and I'm going to change this to 13 to a 12.5. That would be for where the fuel pump is worn for a season of racing. Okay, we're back up to that 4.5 or more air-to-fuel ratio. Combine that with a resealed blower. Go to 98% on the resealed blower. And we're now at a 4.68. We're getting dangerously lean on this combination. Now this would be a combination where he's got his fuel pump worn from the previous year, he's not done anything to it, and he's resealed his blower for the subsequent year, and the combination of the two are really starting to get pretty hazardous. Okay, I'm going to go one step further. This had a forward-facing injector hat, which would get ram air as the speed went up. Now this car was running 170 to 180 miles an hour. A forward-facing air scoop picks up pressure from ram air, and at about 170 to 180 miles an hour, the pressure is probably about 1.5 psi, somewhere in that range. Well, one way of handling how much extra air is going into the motor in this case would be simply change the barometer to a higher value to make provisions for the ram air. Well, about 1.5 psi of air pressure is about 3 inches of mercury, so I'm going to add 3 inches to my 29.84. Now we're way in the lean state. So as this race car is approaching the finish line, getting up to 170, 180 miles an hour, with a worn fuel pump and a freshly sealed blower, it's a dangerous combination, and it's probably going to bang the blower. Let's go back here and put this at 95% for the blower. Get air to fuel ratio. So this would be a worn blower, a worn fuel pump, and ram air, and he's in the dangerous zone. We've just illustrated that in normal wear and tear in these engines, combined with ram air that would occur at higher speed, the air to fuel ratio from what I said was a marginally lean condition can actually go way too lean in a combination. And this would be a possibility of engine damage, which this tuner has reported from time to time throughout the years. And when you start examining the nozzle layout, and he's got some nozzles that are big and some that are small, you can see where he can be getting a possibility of melting a piston on that particular run. And again, when you combine it with differences in air density, without doing an analysis and just running one run after another and then making one change, compensating for this and that, you can see where it's a problematic combination. Thank you for your time.